Welcome to Fashion Neurosis, Rashida Jones.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Nervous.
Can you tell me what you're wearing today and why you chose these particular clothes?
Well, I am wearing a kind of suit, stripy suit, by a wonderful designer who's also my friend named Erdem.
Adam. I
Erdem.
love Adam.
I was in my Bella Freud cashmere top, but it's really hot out, and I had to prioritize that. But it is my favorite top, and I wear it all the time.
Thank you. You're an award-winning actor, producer, and writer. You're also the daughter of the legendary Quincy Jones, who was a mentor and collaborator to countless artists, including Michael Jackson and Ray Charles. But it's your mother, the actress Peggy Lipton, who died in 2019, who seems to have been your compass. And I wondered, what were her reassuring qualities?
Oh, my mom was an angel. She's a very sensitive person. She's really dialed into something deeper than just being here on this planet. She was a seeker.
Wow.
And she got famous really young. She was on TV when she was 19 on the Mod Squad, and it just all happened so fast. She was really famous really fast because there were just 3 TV networks in the States. And so you're watching that show if you're watching TV. So everybody knew who she was, and she just, exploded onto the scene. She was so beautiful, and she had such cool style. And it was a lot for her. And I think she decided kind of quickly that wasn't the path she wanted for her life, because she wanted something else. She wanted something deeper. So I think that part of my mom was extremely comforting for me. She was very loving, very affectionate, very empathetic, very sensitive, and very deep person.
God, how lovely. Especially my mother died too, and but I wasn't connected to her in the way you describe, and it's a different feeling. It's something that I love to hear about, and I know there was something there between my mother and I, but it didn't get expressed very often. So I feel like I can kind of connect to that via other people's closeness and remember the things that were possible between my mum and myself. And
yeah, I mean, I do think moms and daughters always complicated, always. As much love as there is there, and I'm with you because I don't have a mom now. I'm always sort of searching for this particular type of relationship, female relationship that is that comfort.
yeah,
That very comforting and protective person. So I definitely have that in my life to make up for what I don't have anymore.
yeah. I've noticed that I look for mother figures in men as well.
Interesting.
And they're really good mother figures sometimes.
Yeah. Like what qualities in a man have you found that are maternal?
Well, this sort of nurture and attention to well-being that was something very lacking. I mean, in my era of upbringing, I don't know if people paid such attention to that, making sure someone's getting from A to B, and even things like cooking. I don't cook, and
Right.
so sometimes if my man is a cook, I'll feel like it's sort of a maternal thing.
It is very nurturing.
Yeah.
Food. That's so nice. I love thinking about men embodying those qualities because, you know, for so many reasons. But my partner and I made this movie about this swim teacher, and he was raised with just a mom and not a dad and 4 sisters or something. And he's a mom in the pool. Like, that's why he's such a good teacher, you know? That's how he learned how to be a parent and a teacher, is from his mom. I just love that. It's the most
brilliant movie. I mean, it's completely spellbinding. I love that. It was nominated for an Oscar as well.
It was shortlisted.
Right.
So it was like the 15 before the 5. We didn't make the 5, but we made the 15.
Yeah, that's really something. And your mother, as you described, was incredibly beautiful and the epitome of 70s glamour and purity. And your dad was also incredibly beautiful. And both of them had this great style. And I wondered whose dressing influenced you the most.
Well, I have a lot of fashion psychology to work out here today, Bella, so I hope you're ready. My parents were so cool, and they had such an innate sense of style. And I know everybody says this, but I mean it. I was like a bit of a nerd, like an 80s nerd, not like a cool nerd, like a nerd. Like I had a desktop computer before everybody else and like a modem. And I loved little suits. Like, I liked to be, I like a sensible slack. Do they have the word slack in the UK?
Yes.
Yeah, I liked a sensible slack and like a little 3-piece suit. I liked a bolero tie. Always a button-down shirt, button to the top. I grew up wearing a uniform, but I think I felt like my parents were the stylish ones, and I was the sort of brainy one in opposition to them. So I don't know if I've ever felt stylish growing up, but I had a very strong sense of what I wanted to wear. And then I guess as I got older, I was lucky because I did have such stylish parents that I could realize my wishes of, you know, suits and blazers and button-downs and kind of, you know, masculine coded dressing in a way that was elegant because they gave me that. They gave that to me, you know. So maybe closer to, I don't know, I'm definitely somewhere in the middle. My mom was very kind of ethereal, cool, you know, she had a lot of like, when she was young, Ozzie Clark, and you know, she was like she was a hippie. She lived in LA from the time she was 19. You know, the people she kind of ran around with was very sort of like the roots of boho chic.
Yeah.
And my dad was just cool, just the coolest, and could kind of pull off anything and did anything from like dashikis to Missoni to he loved like Chinese tailoring and you know, like Chinese silk. He had a lot of custom suits. He loved a double collar.
What's a double collar?
Like he'd wear a shirt over a shirt, like 2 collared shirts.
Yeah,
so cool, with like a chain, you know. So I'm somewhere in the middle, and then I'm also my own thing, I guess.
Yeah, I identify a lot with your button to the neck. I feel...
You feel seen?
Yeah, I feel seen, and I find there's a lot of like, you know, what's your best feature? And I feel like, well, maybe my best feature's my brain, so I want a collar to kind of emphasize
Point
that
to
oval.
It. Yeah.
And I identify with that.
I once had a kind of creepy older employer ask me, why do you always wear button-down shirts and button them all the way to the top? And I just said, style.
That's a very good response. Because what was the first garment that changed the way you felt about yourself? And what age were you when you noticed the connection between what you were wearing and what it gave you?
I had this brand called Underoos. I don't think they have them in the UK, but they were like superhero undergarments. And I had a Wonder Woman Underoos. And I would put that on and just feel so happy. I was probably like 5. Like totally synthetic material, super cheap. But I can remember the red and the gold and the like trompe-l'oeil like belt, like the Wonder Woman gold belt over the red suit. It was like a 2-piece suit. Just feeling so cool and empowered, you know?
Yeah. They're very empowering, those kind of total look.
Yeah, like today. My Underoos.
When your parents divorced, your older sister, Kadada, went to live with your father and you left with your mother. And how are your feelings of conflicting loyalty?
So funny. I was just talking about this the other day. I don't think I think that much about that time. I would go spend weekends with my dad. I felt very protective of my mom. You know, I think maybe that's just typical for either a younger sibling or a daughter. My sister had like she was a teenager and she had a big life. And, you know, she was like super cool and had lots of friends and would have a bunch of friends over to my dad's house. And I was with my mom. And my mom went back to work when my parents separated for the first time in a long time. So that was new. But yeah, I think I felt like I felt protective of her. I wanted to make sure she was okay, you know, and that she knew I was with her. I was a very well-behaved, for the most part, teenager. Like I didn't get grounded. I did my homework. I had a pretty wholesome, you know, after school situation. I was on the dance squad. I was in the math club. I was in student government, and I would do my homework, you know, and dance with my friends, and they'd come over and eat snacks, and we'd watch TV. So, you know, I think she probably really liked that stability, and I think I probably liked feeling useful in that way to her.
Yeah. Because you described your rebellion as a child of artistic people as being academic. And you said, I like this idea of being able to control my environment. And the easiest way to do that is you work on something and then you get a grade. And I wondered if do you use your intellect to create certainty where maybe there isn't much certainty?
Yes. Yes, I did, and I do, and it's something I'm, at this point in my life, trying to move away from, because I think what it provided for me was a sense of control, that I could control my environment, which we all know is not real. We don't have control of anything, except how we react to things, and how we feel emotionally to things. So I think that served a purpose. It did me very well. It did get me, you know, this sort of great life and, you know, friends in college, and people had things in common with me intellectually. But I now feel like certainty is prohibitive. Like the need, this seeking out certainty it's a fool's errand, and it's prohibitive, because it's not, you know, at this point, it's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is to accept the things you cannot change.
It's true. My Pilates teacher was telling me about a book that's all about the relationship between anxiety and certainty, and why people think that, certainty will quell anxiety. But of course, as there isn't really any certainty much.
I'm sure seeking certainty creates more anxiety.
Yeah, I would have.
Because you're under the delusion that you can somehow control something, and then you trick yourself into thinking something you're doing is changing circumstance. And then when it doesn't change circumstance, then it's your whole kind of, structure, the rule of being alive is brought into question, which is existential.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no control. There's no control.
You starred in the political satire mockumentary of Parks and Recreation, which ran for 7 seasons and never dates. And you have a bewitching way of being incredibly deadpan and funny while often berating someone. And I wondered, when did you first know that you were funny?
So funny. I was just talking to a friend of mine who she doesn't think she's funny or caustic or witty. She was like, I want to learn how to be that way. How do I do that? And she was like, how did you do that? And I was just thinking about the amount of times it felt like a source of survival for me, starting from a very early age. But I was obsessed with Saturday Night Live and Second City TV and sketch comedy, and comedy films. Like I loved Vacation and Airplane, and it felt like a language I understood. And so it's like I learned language. And I remember being 13 and having a birthday party, a dance party, and I stopped the party so I could do my imitation of the church lady, which was this Dana Carvey character on Saturday Night Live. And I think it was only funny to me, but I really wanted to do it at my birthday.
So great. And you did it.
I did it. And I had the DJ put on, like, there's a little reverb effect when she says, her thing is, who do you think is possessing you? Oh, I don't know. Satan? And it's like has a little bit of an echo. And I mean, I'm sure my friends who loved me supported me, but I'm not sure it was that funny.
Oh, it sounds really funny. It sounds great. I think it's such an amazing thing to have actually done rather than just thought it, and that you did it.
Right.
And that's, I remember fantasizing about those moments, but I didn't do them. It's taken me my whole life to become more visible.
Well, I have a lot of those too. I mean, there's things that I just, of course, wanted to do and didn't do. But I guess I had a captive audience because it was my birthday.
No, you did
I had no choice.
It's wonderful. And you're brilliant at it. So
Thanks.
You must have known that you had this ability somewhere, and you actually took the first action, which is everything. And I found these brilliant graphic fanzines on eBay, which you wrote, called Frenemy of the State, about a socialite recruited by the CIA. I've got one here. In fact, I've got loads now because I love reading comics, and I also learned all my Freudian analysis history from this comic book, and I think there's a great way of learning things that are kind of dense or kind of daunting through other mediums. But I wondered why it was so. Your character was a socialite who'd been recruited by the CIA, and I wondered why you'd chosen the CIA.
Well, it sort of fits into my kind of life narrative. I grew up in LA, and there's a lot of LA is a city of dreams and fantasies, and there's a lot of people there who their job is to socialize and to look good. And I started thinking, and actually I knew this girl who, she was really adept at like hacking her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend's email, and she got in trouble. She got arrested. I was like, that's so cool that she had this like skill, because her passion was such that she learned how to do this thing that, just to get the information she wanted. So I started like thinking about, wouldn't it be funny? It's a perfect cover. Like a girl who is at every party in every country, every launch, every whatever, champagne, I don't know, soiree, is the perfect cover for somebody to be recruited by a government agency. And if the girl, like the character in the graphic novel is, she's kind of boy crazy, and she's spying on her boyfriend, and her hurt causes her to have like this great skill set, which she probably had anyway, but it makes her an even more perfect person who's willing to kind of take the risk, break some laws to get the information she wants. And they kind of hold this information over her head as like almost blackmail to make her have to join the CIA. But there's also like, I think modern times that feeling has kind of changed, but the CIA kind of held this, there's this sort of romantic version of CIA, which we know now is not true.
Yeah, I suppose it's the romantic notion of like here people used to be recruited they probably still are at Cambridge and everything to become
MI6. Yeah.
And then all these kind of desperate alcoholic ex-public school boys with just these kind of withered moral code of resignation.
It's not a great life.
No.
I don't know, but I think people who say yes to work for a government agency, I think it's pretty grim. It self-selects for somebody who's maybe doesn't really fully want to have their own personal life. But I remember doing research and learning that most secrets are told during pillow talk, which is why they love to set a honey trap.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Yeah. You're vulnerable.
Like the Jackal, the brilliant scene with the government minister. And who is it? Oh, I can't remember the actress, but I watched it again recently. It was so good.
The show?
The
movie.
The original movie.
I love that movie. The Day of the Jackal.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Because you also made a film with the Muppets where you get to interact with Kermit, who's everyone's secret crush. And I wondered, did you kind of fall in love? Is it possible to fall in love or become emotionally involved with a puppet? It seemed infinitely possible watching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, first of all, yes. Very quickly, you forget that these brilliant puppet performers are actually manning the puppet. So there were a lot of times in between takes where I would just have full conversations with Kermit,
God.
like he was real.
Yeah.
And I really liked him. And Steve, who was the puppet performer, he's great. He clearly infused this little felt green guy with all this like personality and great rapport. But yeah, it never got made, but Will and I, we wrote a TV show about like puppets and this feeling like you could maybe fall in love with a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kermit, talking about maternal figure men, you could just imagine him taking care of you and being a great lover and then bringing you orange juice in bed.
You've really, really, really thought about this? Listen, you're going to have to fight Miss Piggy That much I
Oh
know.
gosh, I would lose. No one could win against her. So yes.
But you're right. He's sort of like the calm-headed caretaker, because Piggy's just kind of doing her thing, and he's like, he is very. But I guess we could say that's also, it should be paternal
To do
that.
Yeah.
It should be paternal. That should be this sort of like, I don't know, taking care of stuff can be maternal and paternal.
Yeah.
No,
it is. My dad was a great cook.
Oh, was he? God, that just doesn't feel fair. How can you be that good at two things?
He had some other flaws, but
well, don't we all? Don't we all?
And you featured in a Calvin Klein underwear ad with Kirsten Dunst, directed by Sofia Coppola, and you dress in a charming, slightly boyish way that's more suggestive than overt. And I wondered, how do you feel about being naked?
Good question. I am definitely not one of those people, as maybe you can tell by my outfit. Like you, I'm actually maybe they're not mutually exclusive, but I don't identify with my body, and certainly not my naked body. It's not how I express myself. I'm very, very in awe of people who can and do. I think it's so cool to just be so comfortable with your body. Sophia and I had a lot of conversations about that before that shoot, because I obviously trust her. Her eye trained on femininity is a very different thing than just an underwear ad, which is why I was happy to do it, because I knew she would make me feel beautiful in a way I would want to feel beautiful, like not in a sort of like male gazy sort of way. But yeah, it's not my fave. I'm going to be honest. And there's been times in my life where I've gotten really in shape. I did remember doing one shoot in like a bra and underwear around the time when everybody was doing that, when everybody had to do that. Do people still have to do that? Maybe they do. I don't know. But I still I still look back and think like, did not feel like me. But, I have a lot of women who say to me like, today is the best you're going to look for the rest of your life. So enjoy it. And so some part of me thinks, like, I think about, being 25 and feeling, like self-conscious about my body, and like how different that body is from my body today. But I don't think it would make me any more naked, want to be any more naked. What about you?
Well, I was going to ask, do you have like artifices to do with nakedness? Because I know I have kind of things I wear that make me more naked, because I find that sort of 70s nakedness where you're just like striding around with nothing on, I just couldn't, it just makes me feel so cringy at the thought. But now I'm older, I'm more into it than I ever was when I was younger. And I even once got someone to take a photograph of me naked, because I thought, when I was 25, I thought, when I'm my age now, I will look back and think, what was all this hatred of body stuff?
Right.
So I forced myself to do it. And once I was naked, I sort of barely noticed. And I've got the picture in my bedroom, and I'm glad I did it. But it's this exacting thing. And I wondered, what are your skills to do with, how do you get naked without being naked?
Good question. Well, first of all, that's so cool you did that. That's a photograph. I would kind of like to be painted naked. That feels, I love nude so much.
Yeah.
I love your dad's nudes so much. I just love nudes. They're so cool and interesting, and the human body is so, varied and then also not. I recently took a figure drawing class, and, it was like an 8-hour class where you just have a, this beautiful 75-year-old naked woman who just kind of fell asleep, nodded off for 8 hours in front of us. And it was so interesting. It wasn't long enough, I loved it. So I would love to be a part of that, just that discipline, and be captured in that way. But I guess these days I do love I do like a sheer dress. If you're wearing, I always like a boy short and a bra with a very sheer dress over it. I think that's very elegant. Love that. And I've never minded my legs. There's other parts of my body I don't like. So I'm happy to wear a very, very short dress. And I also really like, because I don't really expose this very often, sometimes it's a special treat for myself to show my décolletage.
Yeah.
And because I've covered it up my entire life, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't have sun damage there. That's sort of the one benefit of being this chaste for this long. Now I get to show the world. Once in a while.
Yeah. And you've been a campaigning voice in the Black Lives Matter movement in the US. And I remember this talk by Ta-Nehisi Coates where he outlined some of his experience of prejudice and growing up as a black man. And when people want to do something positive about existing discrimination, what do you reply?
Oh, I love Ta-Nehisi Coates so much.
He's amazing.
What a gorgeous voice. What a raw, eloquent, unafraid. And he just distills the essence of being alive, and somehow manages to balance poetry and politics at the same time. I mean, he's just, what a singular voice. We're so lucky to have, he's like a once in a generation voice. I mean, I don't know, I could never reply like he could, but the humanity is steeped in inequality, injustice, dehumanization, and we're living in a funny time where we're very divided, and people feel fervor around their politics, and that I love. I love that people feel so strongly, but I think I'm concerned about the lack of humanity within that belief, because empathy. We have to see ourselves in others, and we have to allow others to see themselves in us, because that's why we're here together. That's why we're not living in a weird VR fantasy, because we must work it out together here in the same place. There's too many of us to be this divided, this siloed, and this on other sides. We have to see our humanity in each other. I know that sounds so cliche, but the older I get, I feel like my job is to listen deeply and to pick something out of what somebody says, even if I disagree with them to my core, and see either their hurt, their pain, or the thing we have in common. That's my job.
Yeah.
It has to be. It has to be, because if not, violence, war, we turn on each other.
Yeah.
We hurt each other.
That's so important. It's such a discipline, and it does give results as well. It really does.
Yeah, and also, not to be too woo-woo, but I do find that the healing nature of having a conversation with another person, especially an unexpected person that doesn't come from the same background as you, you don't expect to have anything in common, that is like, that reverberates. Like that energetically can travel outwards. I know that's so, look, I'm from California. Okay. This is part of who I am.
It's not.
But I truly believe
legitimate.
that. I believe that. It's just, it has to be, because everything else is, you know, my dad was very much one of those people. He's such a connector. He would talk to anybody and for hours. And he didn't believe in, you know, he didn't reserve his energy for the most important people. He thought everybody was important. And so many people still come up to me and say, I had the best night. I met your dad and we talked for 2 hours and he was just the greatest guy. And he asked me so many questions about myself. And like, that's our job. Like, that's how we heal each other, is to listen, you know?
Yeah.
Like, his whole thing was make decisions based on love and not fear. And that's with each other too.
Yeah.
Like, we can't fear each other. We have to see where we can relate. That's our job.
Yeah. It's essential.
Yeah, it's essential.
You starred alongside Bill Murray in the Sofia Coppola movie that she directed, On the Rocks. And you and Sofia Coppola are a dream union, and you both seem to possess this kind of introverted brilliance. And did you feel a kindred spirit in her?
I do. I always have with Sofia. We've known each other a long time. We met, I was in my 20s, and I was in an acting workshop with my teacher, Greta Seacat, and Sofia was workshopping her first script, Lost in Translation. And she came to class to kind of like use the actors to work on her script. And I was very lucky. I got to play that part for like a month in class. And we did a lot of like dream work around that character. And so I would dream and she would dream. Then we'd share our dreams and put it into the character and kind of improv and work on it. Anyway, yeah, I just always really liked her. She's such a personable person. You know, she's just got zero veneer, and she's just always been so lovely. And we have, in some ways, kind of similar upbringing. And our dads were friends.
Really?
Yeah, they were friends. And actually, before I met her, I was with my dad, and he took me to Francis's vineyard for the weekend. It was the weekend of the LA riots, and there was a curfew. And he was like, come with me. I'm going to go to my friend's house, so come with me. So I spent the weekend with them. It was great. And
God, how wonderful.
it was so cool. And he was so nice to me too. Like, you know, teens, whatever. But it's always, I feel like I had parents like this too, where they treated kids in a way like they were deep souls and like young bodies. Like they just spoke to them with respect and had real conversations with them. And he was like that with me. He's very, very lovely and very respectful. So we always had this nice kind of like parallel life thing in common. And certainly in the movie, Bill plays my father, and he's this like worldly, charismatic, loves women, loves life kind of guy, which I think we both could relate to strongly.
Yeah, because both you and Sofia Coppola, you're very much the objects of girls' fandom. Obviously men as well, but all girls love you both.
Aww.
And you represent glamour and kind of subtlety and beauty, and this, you make things, you know, you're both so brilliantly creative and original, and so the idea of you together was just like, oh my God, this is thrilling. This is as good as it gets.
I think we both loved our moms so much. And our moms, I think, were incredibly supportive of our careers. And I think we share this sort of like real, like deep love for women and to be a woman and all the kind of great and, you know, kind of eye-rolly things that go along with that. Yeah, like, I really admire Sofia because she has this way of sort of like making femininity so punk rock.
She
you know?
does. That's so true.
Cool.
Yeah.
And also like she's got this sort of like sad girl complexity is kind of what she brings to her movies. You know, she loves to linger on like on a woman contemplating her life. And so there's a real interiority in the things that she does, which, you know, I don't think we really saw before her. She's like, she really stands for this thing that like is really hard to do, which is like she allows for the kind of quietude of like feminine thought on screen.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, she's a master at that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're the intelligent and beautiful daughter of a superstar father, and envy is a difficult thing to be on the receiving end. And do you think your high-achieving academic approach to your art is a way of handling what comes with heritage?
Yeah, I think I picked something different. Not ultimately, but I picked something different to sort of have something that was my own. And I think about it a lot because as supportive as my dad was, he was so supportive. He always told me like pick 2 things to be good at, which I thought was really good advice. But he could say all those things to me. He could support me as much as he wanted to. But when you have somebody in your house who shifts culture seismically, it's really hard to not take that in and feel like a failure if you don't achieve anything close to that. So I think having some kind of like academic spin was my way of being like, oh yeah, but I'm not even trying for that. But, you know, and the truth is obviously now I'm very lucky I get to write and have like a very even career between writing and producing and directing and acting. But, you know, yeah, I would be lying if I said that I don't think of my dad's accomplishments and like sometimes want to just shrink at the idea that, you know, whatever my legacy is, whatever it is I accomplish, like, I just know it's not going to be that because I also know what the sacrifice was for him. I mean, he's, you know, almost died so many times. Like, I don't want to do that.
No.
I don't want to do that. I value my alone time. I value my inner life, and I value the kind of balance between feeling good in my own life and feeling good about what I put out into the world. And not to say, obviously, my dad had a destiny. He was a bullet train. He had to do what he did at great expense. And luckily, you know, he had such a long life, and we got the other side of him where he just got to be a family man and be with us.
Yeah.
And he had no regrets because look, he had to do that. He like, you know, he healed the world in a lot of ways with what he gave to us. So I know he had no regrets. But for me, I think I'm always looking for a bit more balance, you know.
Because you made this wonderful documentary about him in 2018 when he was also creating the National Museum for African American History and Culture. And it was like a race against time during the documentary. And because of him being intermittent, at one point he's rushed to hospital. And I wondered, is that your love letter to your father with the making that film?
Yeah, definitely. It took me 6 years to make that.
Wow.
And my wonderful co-director, Al Hicks, who's like, you know, it's really nice to be able to share that experience with somebody because it's very intense to capture your parent. But Jane Rosenthal, who's runs Tribeca Films, is Robert De Niro's partner, she came up to me. We've been friends for a long time. She knows my dad very well. And she was like, you have to make a movie about your dad. And I had that feeling like, oh, it was like a gut punch. Like, I don't want to, but I have to do this. I must do this. And I'm so, so happy that I did, because it feels like him.
Yeah.
And I get to, I don't watch it back too often because I do. It just destroys me emotionally. But it's a meditation on his life, and it's a meditation on him meditating on his own life. And we had this moment where he went into diabetic shock in the middle of filming, and we stopped filming, and luckily my brother was filming in the hospital because we were sort of using it to show him after he got out of his coma, because we wanted to convince him to stop drinking, which literally woke up from a coma at 82 and was like, I'm not going to drink anymore. So we didn't even have to do it. But luckily we had that footage, and luckily, he survived that. So putting that in there really felt like we could tell the story of his survival and his resilience and his 9 lives. And, and then we had the gift of, he lived for another 9 years,
Incredible.
which was, he was an absolute beast, just a loving beast, really wanted to be here.
Yeah, it's difficult to show someone who you love so much that you love them when they're, they have their own life. And I mean, I found that with my father, that my only real way of showing him was to sit for him.
Right.
And at least it was an act I could make, and it was just a gesture of my kind of loyalty. But
would you talk when you sat for him?
Yeah, unless he was painting my mouth, we would talk away about anything from he had an amazing memory and would remember all these poems and these things. He'd tell me about things I was interested in, and like ballet russe and all those kind of that era in the 40s in Paris. And then he was very funny about people and gossip, and it was fantastic being with him.
That's so nice. It's like stolen time.
Yeah,
lovely.
It was great fun.
Same. So that's, I'm with him everywhere, sometimes with a camera, but I got to I just got to spend all this time with him. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great to have an excuse to spend time for something.
Yes.
It makes it's like a skateboard to go on, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you have this thing that you essentially made together.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're a writer, and your new film, The Invite, is described in a review as a 4-way sex comedy of embarrassment, intriguing, amusing, and somehow bizarrely moving. And it's really interesting about sexual fantasy and how the characters played by Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen keep theirs private from each other, and the Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton characters share theirs with each other and anyone else. And Esther Perel, the renowned sex therapist, she has a credit, and I wondered, did you work directly with her on the interactions and how they worked?
I did. Was very lucky to work with Esther. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a few sessions, and every single thing that comes out of her mouth, you're just like, hits so hard. Like she finds a way to crystallize the kind of essence of 2 ways of being, or the essence of relationship, and then just like puts them in the most like perfect, pithy, thoughtful like package where you just like literally we were just all kind of like agog with everything she said. So yeah, we're very lucky to work with her, and there's a lot in the movie that is borrowed directly from Esther. She knows that. I mean, I've thanked her effusively for just giving us the wisdom to anchor the movie in reality, because Will and I, my writing partner, we're so obsessed with relationships. We're so obsessed with the dynamics and long-term relationships, especially now because we've both been in them for a long time and have families. But yeah, for us, yes, there's obviously sex, but there's some famous quote that is like, everything is about sex except for sex.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe somebody in your family said that. I don't know. But it's true.
Yeah.
And this movie is that, which is like, you have a couple keeping secrets. You have a new couple sharing secrets and like kind of using secrets to create this sort of frothy, exciting, passionate sex life. And so many people in relationships, I think, feel like communication stalls out when sex stalls out. And that's not a mistake because sex is kind of a tool for intimacy, and it should and can bring you much closer together. And so when you stop doing that, you sort of create this like giant divide where it feels like you can't even speak to each other.
I know, because sex is communication,
Exactly.
isn't it? It's not just the side dish,
Yes.
But it was so well written. I mean, just brilliant. Totally credible and so thought-provoking. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of Esther Perel, and she's been on Fashion Neurosis, and I was totally honored. She's an advocate for fantasy and passion.
Yeah.
And it bears no relationship to the mechanical nature of what can be in porn. And I found that very interesting. But she also, in her book, her book Mating in Captivity, she talks about keeping risk alive. And I wondered how you dress to keep risk alive.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I guess like risk to me is so psychological. So I guess I definitely don't wear high heels. I don't like to keep that risk alive. I'm done with that era of my life. Can't do it anymore. I'll wear a platform, but I will not wear like a stiletto. No. But I like the tension, which is why I think I'm very into suiting, but I like the tension of it makes me feel kind of sexy and risque to dress masculine.
Yeah.
Like that is sort of like a bit of like a fetish.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool because it's kind of like what lies beneath.
Yes, it's true. It's the conflict, because there you have this angelic face and there's these kind of big lapels and a bit like, where are you in there? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that, like any interesting person, there's layers. And then you can like echo that with what you wear. You will have to peel back layers. You will have to get to know me to really like know me.
Yeah.
You'll have to like work a little bit to get to know me.
And if you fancy someone and don't like something they're wearing, does it kill your attraction?
Oh my God, completely. Completely. Will and I, we had a text chain for a while called Tricky Jeans, which was just about that. It was like, if there's, for the most part, embroidery on a jean pocket, it's kind of over. It's kind of over. I think as I get older, I'm probably less shallow, but certainly it was very defining in my 20s and 30s to be like, if a guy's wearing a certain kind of shoes, like I can't kiss him. I can't do it,
A shoe is a big indicator, isn't it? It gives a lot away.
It gives a lot away. Like it can be all very right.
Yeah.
And then you get to the bottom and you go, what? How?
I find a jean that clings to the calf.
Oof.
Destabilizing.
A stretchy jean. Oof. Yeah, I'm not one for like a clingy. I don't like clingy for myself. I don't like clingy clothes. I think it can be cool if it's like, it's like silk or there's a, it's like a intentional moment. But in general, to just opt for a clingy fit at all times is like not my thing.
I'm with you. Mind you, I do really admire it on other people to be wearing skin-tight stuff. I just think, oh, that's so fascinating.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And impressive. And all the things I was more dismissive about, now I celebrate. I was on the tube going up the escalator behind this girl wearing the tightest shorts, and I thought, oh, I'm so glad you're doing that. I couldn't have done that.
Totally.
I'm glad someone's doing it. And she looked great,
Totally. Makes you think of how different all of our brains are. Because it's also like what you're wearing, how it makes you feel, how you think other people perceive you, how you want to be perceived, how you are perceiving somebody else. Like there's so many layers to how and why we wear clothes, and everybody has such a different relationship with the thing that they're wearing.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
And you have a fantastic boyfriend, Ezra Koenig, who's the lead singer of Vampire Weekend. Does he ever veto anything you wear? Like Nick Cave has a hatred of ankle boots, which was so funny.
I like you. You're the first person to ever say his last name right. That's the right Koenig.
Yes,
that's the German pronunciation.
Yes, I did a German exchange at school, so I know all about German
there you go.
pronunciation.
He's very supportive of my fashion, and he's a very stylish dude himself. So, but I will often ask him. We have this inside joke where he's like, "Okay, yeah, I think you're just playing with volume too much," because I'm always playing with volume. But then there's, like I reach a cap where I'm like, the playing with volume must stop. I need to stop playing with volume. And it's only when I ask. He never volunteers that, and he's very sweetly is like, "You're so beautiful, and you're so beautiful in anything you wear." And we have a lot in common in the way that we dress. We like the same designers.
Yeah,
I will borrow a lot of his clothes. I'll buy him clothes. He buys me clothes. We have a shared color palette.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's lovely. Well, thank you so much, Rashida Jones, for being on Fashion Neurosis. You've been a great inspiration to me in my life, and it's just wonderful to have you here.
I feel so therapized. I do. I feel calmer. I feel like I've released a lot of things. There's been a lot of insights I didn't expect to, but I think I feel better.
Well, so do I.
Thank you, Bella.